Would anyone be okay with Joe Biden receiving a gift from the Middle East? Absolutely not. So whenever I heard Donald Trump was receiving a jet from Qatar, the first thing I thought of, that's sketchy. Like, that's weird. And thankfully he came out and said that, hey, the gift is actually to America, not him personally. So he's going to ride it around for 4 years. And then, the United States is going to maintain that possession as he leaves office. If that is the case, I'm fine with that. But I'm not okay with politicians on both sides taking advantage of their position for their own personal benefit and then getting bought out by other countries to pass some bill, that benefits another country and not America first. I think anyone can respect that. And I think anyone can agree that people on both sides are getting bought. I'm just tired of that. And I don't care who it is anymore. I don't care if it's your favorite politician. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. If you're receiving gifts from another country, that's sketchy. And we need politicians, and I think Donald Trump's one of them. We need politicians to be America first and not be so easily bought. Is that okay to say?
Let's talk about Trump and Qatar, since so many of you are so angry about something you know so little about. Number one, this is fake news causing this outrage. They're the ones who are going around perpetuating this idea that President Donald Trump plans on keeping this $440 million plane, keep that number in mind because we'll get back to that later, as a personal present. He not only has never said that, he has said the exact opposite. This is very much so a gift to the Department of Defense, which is 100% legal. He does not plan on keeping it after he leaves his presidency, and he has made that clear, and yet you buy into these headlines that are just trying to cause mass panic. I don't know why you would do that after the media has proven themselves to be so dishonest. Next, I think that it's a little bit strange that people are really harping on President Trump accepting this gift and building our relationship with Qatar, when it's quite literally Biden who made Qatar a non-NATO major ally. Why were you not screaming about this then? Oh, right, because you didn't have Trump derangement syndrome and you couldn't find a way to blame him for that. Yes, Qatar is a sketchy country and we should keep ourselves at an arm's length to the best of our abilities, but they are still our ally. We shouldn't be trying to force ourselves into isolationism that we don't need to be in, and they are a good strategic ally to have. President Trump is many things, but a fool and a sucker is not one of them. He knows what he is doing, he knows what's going on behind the scenes, and he certainly knows how to see through people's BS. So if he thought that Qatar was up to something to come after America or one of our allies, he would put a stop to it immediately. The very last thing that I want to talk about, if you want to talk about sketchy, why is Qatar giving money to public universities in the United States of America that are undisclosed for billions of dollars? You guys are screaming about a $400 million plane, but when they're giving $13 billion to American universities in order to influence the curriculum and teach anti-Israel rhetoric and anti-America rhetoric, why were you guys silent about that? That's what you should be up in arms about, not President Donald Trump doing something that is going to overall help us strengthen our allyship and make sure that we can keep our tabs on them. Go scream at the universities for taking foreign funding in order to teach anti-America things to American students.
$1.2 trillion. That is what Qatar and the United States have just agreed on. And here are a few of the many groundbreaking deals that just got secured in Qatar. And you could find all of this on the White House website. Boeing and GE Aerospace secured a landmark order from Qatar Airways, a $96 billion agreement to acquire up to 210 American-made Boeing 787 Dreamliners and 777X aircraft powered by GE Aerospace engines. This is Boeing's largest ever wide-body order and largest ever 787 order. And this historic agreement will support 154,000 U.S. jobs annually, totaling over 1 million jobs in the United States during the course of production and delivery of this deal. McDermott has a strong partnership with Qatar Energy in advancing critical energy infrastructure with 7 active projects worth $8.5 billion. As the sole provider of offshore components for Qatar's major LNG expansion, McDermott's work directly supports thousands of U.S. energy sector jobs. Parsons has successfully won 30 projects worth up to $97 billion. Quantum finalized a joint venture agreement with Al Raban Capital, a prominent Qatari company. Qatar will invest up to $1 billion in state-of-the-art quantum technologies and workforce development provided by the joint venture, supporting U.S. and Qatari jobs and leadership in this critical emerging technology. And to top it off, Qatar has committed to investing $38 billion to enhance facilities at the Al Udeid Air Base and expand air defense and maritime security capabilities. Promises made and promises kept. If you want your daily updates on everything that's going on around the world, make sure to hit that follow button.
So yesterday, Donald Trump went to Saudi Arabia and secured a $1 trillion deal. Today, he's in Qatar, where he secured a $1.2 trillion deal. So in 2 days of being on the road in the Middle East, he secured signed contracts, signed deals, $2.2 trillion. So in just a matter of a few months, we left from having a president who was handing out money whatever chance he get. He was just pumping out money, millions, tens of millions, and billions of dollars at a time. And on top of that, everybody who he was giving money to was ungrateful. Nobody respected or appreciated him or the American people. To now having a president who in 2 days he secured over $2 trillion. And everyone's showing respect. Matter of fact, they called him the president of the world, not just the United States. They actually said that. Bro, this man went from being one of what the left was calling the most hated person in the world to being accepted on fucking purple carpets and white Arabian horses. And in Qatar, they rolled out fucking camels, bruh. Camels. The Qatarians rolled out their best looking camels, lined the streets, paraded and praised Donald Trump, not as God. Don't mix this praise in this. Praised Donald Trump as the president of the world, because this man is seriously bringing peace worldwide. And with all the good he's done in the past week or so, talking about bringing peace between India and Pakistan, bringing or making the move for Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky to come together face to face and talk about their peace negotiation, removing the sanctions from Syria and bringing more peace and stability to the Middle East. With all of the good he has done so far, inflation at a record low, all CNN and MSNBC can talk about is the fucking $400 million new Air Force One that Qatar was planning on gifting to the Department of Defense. And Donald Trump is saying, hell yeah, we'll take it. That's all they're pressed about right now. The fuck? Like, they're straight up over there talking shit, saying that he is being bought, or he is getting, or he is being corrupted with Middle East people's money. Let's get this straight. Corruption is hidden. That's how all the government done it. What Donald Trump is doing is being transparent. Everybody is seeing what's happening. He's not hiding and cutting no deals behind closed doors. Or this man, every single thing he has done has been out in the open. So where the fuck is the corruption that you guys are talking about? Oh yeah, that's the Democrats' corruption, huh? So like what Biden and them did, signing all the deals behind closed doors, and Hunter Biden with his painting schemes and his Burisma deals and his cut for the big guy and all of that. None of that was corruption. That was done behind closed doors. And all the shell companies that the greatest financiers had to go scam through hundreds and thousands of shell accounts to find some of the corrupt money. But what Donald Trump is doing out in the open is corruption. Fuck out of here.
Trump said, I would be stupid not to accept a gift like that. He was talking about that $400 million gift from Qatar, the flying palace in the sky that was supposedly going to replace Air Force One. A couple of things I've learned in the last 24 hours. One, people who live and work in the Middle East point out something that I kind of knew before, but bribery is a way of life over there. The average man on the street right now knows what's up with the Trump deal. They know that once Trump accepts that gift, that, by the way, illegal under the U.S. Constitution gift, once he accepts, they own him. They are buying him. They are buying the U.S. president. And second, all the experts are pointing out that because it's being built over there, to make it safe and secure over here, they have to basically dismantle every little facet of that plane. All the walls, all the floors, all the bolts, everything, to make sure there are no hidden listening devices or tracking devices or any other nefarious things, or even weak things that could put our president's life at risk. And the estimates pretty much universally are in agreement that it would cost more to retrofit Air Force One than to just... we have one on order right now, and that will cost less. That will cost much less than accepting this gift. And finally, folks, what has become very clear, Trumpy and his family are doing business in all three of these Middle Eastern stops. You know, building golf courses and hotels and towers. This is not about helping America. This is not about making America great. This is certainly not America first. This is Trump and the Trump family first. If you think otherwise, stay out of politics, don't vote. Because at that point, you just don't know a damn thing.
What's the deal between the Trump family and Qatar? You may have heard that Qatar is about to give Trump an airplane worth approximately $400 million, although a president isn't allowed to accept gifts worth more than $480. And this isn't the first unusual interaction between the Trump family and Qatar. In 2017, Jared Kushner's company was drowning in debt because of Jared's disastrous investment in a building, 666 Fifth Avenue. Jared needed a bailout fast, and he approached Qatar. They said no. Weeks later, the United States, out of nowhere, backed a blockade against Qatar. Then suddenly, Qatar takes a 99-year lease out on the building, reportedly worth, get this, $1.3 billion. Then, coincidentally, the blockade on Qatar ends. And soon after Trump gets reelected, Qatar and the UAE give Jared about $1.5 billion more. Sometimes corruption is hard to find. With the Trump family, it's in plain sight. Don't you think?
Donald Trump is planning to accept a Boeing 747 jet as a gift from the Qatari royal family. These jets are typically valued at around $400 million US dollars. And better yet, he is going to keep the jet after his term is done by 2029, and it will be donated to his presidential library. So he'll basically be able to fly it around for the rest of his life. So I've worked in both the public and private sector, and I can tell you firsthand that this is insane. In the public sector, I worked for a congressman for a brief period, and you couldn't so much as accept a cup of coffee. You were resisted from doing that from anybody that might appear to unduly influence you, even if they were just a friend and they might have worked in the private sector. But if you accepted a free coffee from them, it might be scrutinized. I tried to do work, legal work on the side because they pay you almost nothing in Congress, and it wasn't conflicted in any way with the job I was doing. It didn't cover any of the same issues. But the ethics office said, no, you can't do this work. So preventing you from making even a little money as kind of a side hustle. And then in the private sector, when I worked in finance, there was a very clear policy that any gifts or benefits or anything of value that you might give to a U.S. government official, there was a simple policy. It was just plainly prohibited. And why, might you ask? Because the U.S. Constitution itself has very strict requirements on what U.S. government officials can and cannot accept as gifts, as emoluments, anything of value, really. And when this comes from a foreign state, the Congress has to approve it under Article 1. But Pam Bondi, Trump's attorney general, who actually is supposed to be the United States' attorney general, not Trump's personal attorney, she approved it. But there's no evidence that Congress approved this $400 million jet that Trump would be getting for free. And it begs the question, what is Qatar getting in return for this? Because you know they'll probably become knocking at some point. So keep an eye out for all of that, and don't let this be normalized. This is not normal behavior in any way, shape, or form. This is just corruption out in the open.
Donald Trump says that there's nothing wrong with his accepting that airplane from Qatar. And his crony, Pam Bondi, says that it's perfectly legal. But Pam Bondi is not the authority on whether that's illegal. The Constitution already stated that accepting that gift is illegal. Donald Trump says it is a gift to the Department of Defense. All right. So if it is a gift to the Department of Defense, that means that he cannot legally take it with him when he leaves office. But he said that it is going to be donated to his library. If the property is given to the United States, Donald Trump has no legal authority to take that property with him when he leaves office. That airplane is not equipped with the security technology that's needed in Air Force One. So it would take years to retrofit, and billions, about $1 billion to estimate, which is more than the plane is worth. But it would take that much to retrofit that plane in order to have the same technology as Air Force One. And if that is the case, if he were to leave office and take that plane with him, that means that he would have in his personal possession secret technology that's only on Air Force One. I mean, does anybody see the convolution here? Okay, bottom line is Donald Trump should not and legally cannot accept that airplane from Qatar. Pam Bondi says it's legal, but it's not up to her. It's up to the Supreme Court, because they're going to have to rule on this, because if Trump insists on accepting that plane, then Congress needs to take that matter to the Supreme Court. And even with that 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court, I cannot imagine them ruling that Donald Trump can accept that plane from Qatar. But we live in an age, in the era of Donald Trump as president, so the rule of law does not matter. The Constitution certainly does not matter. This is what happens when you elect a criminal, when you elect a felon. I, and probably no Democrat, is surprised by this action. Donald Trump is a criminal. Donald Trump is corrupt. The only difference now is he is conducting his corrupt activities in plain sight, knowing that no one's going to touch him, no matter what he does.
Y'all see how Donald Trump shut that reporter the hell down? We done with the fake news. The Qatar family decided to donate a jet to the Department of Defense. By the way, this shit is beautiful. Can you remind me of any $1 billion jet that anybody gave any Democratic president? Donald Trump, we really have emotion. I mean, it's just money talk. Donald Trump has pulled $10 trillion out of thin air from the rest of the world. How does every other nation have such respect for Donald Trump and his own citizens be geeking? ABC News, it gotta hurt. Donald Trump the type of nigga to tell you suck to your face. You know the confidence you have to have? Why wouldn't he be confident? It's America! Two Raws in the same video? It has to happen. Patriotism is alive. Three big Raws, we got motion. Prepare to be sick of me, because Donald Trump is winning. And as long as he's winning, we winning. And I'm going to make sure you hear about it.
These people want to focus on the Trump plane, the gun of the Trump plane. Let me say this. Trump, first of all, the Statue of Liberty was given to United States of America for free. So they would rather Trump spend more taxpayer money. Really, they're just angry that Trump is doing so well, right? They predicted that the economy was going to crash and that it was going to be doomsday and there was going to be a recession and all this, and that the tariffs were going to destroy the economy. And they're looking like fools because everything that they said was going to happen didn't happen. The economy has been starting to boom again. The inflation numbers are going down. The gas prices are going down. Trade deals are happening. Tariff deals are happening, right? So they have to focus on things like the South Africa 50 immigrants that come, asylum seekers that come in. They have to focus on things like the plane, right? To keep their base riled up in anger so they don't think, wow, this administration is doing really good.
President Trump won't stop. He is in Qatar right now, and they gave him a beautiful welcome. Watch this.